We're absolutely delighted to have Chris COWDRAY, who runs the Dorchester collection, with us here today on Hospitality Tomorrow Gives. Hospitality Tomorrow Gives is an initiative that we set up to showcase great leadership and legacy within our industry and what leaders are doing for frontliners. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing with us some of the great practices that you are showing with the Dorchester collection.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Jonathan. It's absolutely great pleasure to be able to share what we've been doing. I think what's important is that obviously it's the people, the 3,600 people within the Dorchester collection in our worldwide hotels. But I also look at this as the wider audience and the impact that this is having on tourism. You know, it's devastating everywhere, and we're fortunate we can do something for our own people and for our local communities. I see that Anita with World Tourism and Council, and I gather from the photographs behind you, you obviously have some involvement with animals as well. And I'm involved with the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation. And one of the things there is that the communities in, whether it's in India or Africa, are just being devastated because of the, there's no tourism, and therefore there's absolutely no support for them whatsoever. And so we're trying to help there and promote that side of the really sad and effects that this COVID is having on those communities.
Fantastic. Anita, do you want to take it away?
Indeed. And Christopher, again, exactly as Jonathan has said, thank you for being with us, because you are an exemplary leader at this time. Question for you, because when we look at what the Dorchester, both as an iconic hotel here in London, has done, and what you've been doing across your properties around the world, we've been blessed to read the backstory. We've got all the details, but can you share with all of the people that are viewing just some of the different types of projects you've been involved in? Because they are magic. The creativity and the innovation around simply thinking about what you could do is absolutely beautiful, and it demonstrates the term frontliner is internal, external, community at all ages, all around the world. I'd love to get your choices of some that you think are really exemplary in defining the Dorchester Collection's approach to taking care of the frontliners inside and out. Please.
Thank you, Anita. Well, you're very right there, is that we talk about frontliners, but it's everyone within the organization. As at back of the house, front of the house, you know, everyone needs to support each other to be able to provide the excellence and service that we are proud of. I think it all starts with us from the culture and our vision for the company, and that is that we want to be treasured by guests, that we want to be cherished by our employees, and we want to be celebrated worldwide. And that's important because what we've been able to do the whole time is align all the activities that we're doing to being cherished by employees. And what does that really mean is that that we're going to be, everyone will be treated with kindness and respected. And from the outset, when this all happened, we went straight into action and just said, everyone's positions are going to be protected, and that your jobs are safe. And I think that was really key, because it takes away that immediate fear of, what's going to happen to my families, what's going to happen to, the next, the meal on the table, etc. And it's a big ask, particularly of ownership, to be able to do that. But when you have an ownership which are very much aligned to their belief in people who work in our organization, it makes it very much easier to achieve. And what's happened there is that that's resonated out into the service and I suppose the experience of our guests who who have stayed during the last few months and what have been very, very difficult times. And we had one guest the other day, and I can't find it now, but whose view was just that their stay had been so comfortable because of the way that they had been looked after. And so that goes back also to the protocols that we put in place, and the protocols for our people as well as for our guests. And it was all about, we have a philosophy in the company which is called We Care. And we've had that for years, so it's not something new. It's not as though we're trying to adapt our culture to meet the current needs, or implement our culture to meet the current needs. We have this strong culture, and all we're doing is we're just adapting it to the current environment. And so ensuring that the regulations are in place, that we are adhering to them, but making sure that everyone's comfortable by not being overzealous in what we do. I think there was a tendency by many companies to go in and have so much PPE and barricades and so on. And we said, everyone's we operate our hotels to very, very high standards of cleanliness and protection for our people. So how do we continue that so that people are comfortable? And it's been very, very effective. And has really allowed us to get through this at a very, I suppose, positive note, because we have enormous support from our people now.
Indeed, and your protection of mental health through this process has been vital for wider industry health.
Well, absolutely. I think it's the communication. A lot of people, we've spoken about Zoom earlier on, but it is the communication. We set up immediate channels of communication at the outset. It's called DC Legends, and Dorchester Collection Legends resonates to every single hotel. The people and culture teams follow set formats to make sure that everything's covered, from mental health to overall wellness, and what's going on in the company as a whole, sharing all the wonderful initiatives that are happening, whether it be in Los Angeles, where they've been helping the fire service, or they've been helping the local hospitals, to helping the local community. This has happened in Paris, where they've been into the hospitals and helped there, and Rome and Milan, they've provided hotel rooms for staff who work in the hospitals, just to not to come and stay while they're at work, but to try and again a little bit of recognition and relief from all the pressures that everyone was in, and I think that's what's really important. We've done it in London with the hotels here. I've done it with the local school and trying to provide meals for children because they were having difficulty getting staff in. And the idea is, the initiatives that have been implemented inspire me. That I think that everyone's done an absolutely amazing job.
Chris, just following up on that, I love one of your values with what you're doing at the moment, and that is support any project, just do something. How do you manage that? I'm sure there's lots of ideas from all your teams and wanting to do good things. How do you manage all these initiatives?
Jonathan, it's very much about, it's up to each hotel to come up with the initiatives and implement them. I don't oversee them and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. They know the importance of doing these initiatives for the local community and for their people. I say we set the guidelines, particularly around communication and the importance of that. Also, when it comes to the health and safety protocols, that was something which is very much led from our office here in London, taking of course the ideas and the regulations in all the hotels. But then it's up to the hotels to really inspire their people to to get involved and keep well occupied and give back to the community, particularly knowing that they are safe and that they don't have to worry because they're getting their full pay and that they don't, there's no other concerns.
I think that's a really important point that you just said, Chris, that you let them know up front you're safe, so help make someone else safe. I thought that's a really interesting one. And I know I'm about to ask you to name your favorite child in the family, which a parent will never do. But reading through your list, the Storytime series is my favorite. I just think that what you're doing in Beverly Hills Hotel, where your staff is reading bedtime stories to kids, right, to not just engage the kids, but also so that the parents who are working and homeschooling and dealing with it all have the backup support. I just think that is absolutely magical. You don't have to tell us your favorite, but can you name a couple that you think, oh, these are going into my memoirs?
I probably look at it in a bigger context. I love the way the Dorchester and also the Beverly Hills celebrated the National Health Year. In London, they lit up the front of the Dorchester Hotel when we went out to clap, and it was all in blue and everything else, and it looked absolutely spectacular. And in Beverly Hills, they took where we have the beautiful Beverly Hills Hotel sign, and they suspended a message to the health service there. But I think the person who really comes to mind, who's been incredible in the whole journey, if you, is our Chief People and Cultural Officer, who's Eugenio Perry. He has been just inspirational to all the teams. He's the one who has really came up with the health and safety protocols and how to implement them. The DC Legends, he made sure that happened every single week, and really inspired each hotel team to come up with new ideas. You need a champion like that to be able to do that, and he certainly has been our champion.
Brilliant.
Chris, with COVID-19 threatening to go into the second wave, what are some of the next steps that you're planning to take or already have taken with your various initiatives?
It's constantly changing, Jonathan. We're just in the process of doing our budgets for next year, and we thought we had them finalized last week. And then, of course, Los Angeles went into a new lockdown. Paris has extended the closure of the restaurants until the 20th of January, or if not longer. And of course, although restrictions have been lifted a little bit in the UK, they still are there. I think it's a matter of just being true to what we've been doing so far and continuing. Obviously looking for a degree of flexibility from our people as we start to open up. And it's really a month by month at the moment. The way that we're sort of forecasting the year is that the first 3 months are going to be very, very challenging. And it will ease up slowly as we go into the summer and then finally into the last quarter of the year. But we're not, we're going to continue with all the initiatives that we've done, encouraging people to work with their local communities, participate where they can in different fundraising activities. And most importantly, we're just inspiring our people to do the best they can. We see this as an investment into our future as a company. So we invest into hotels and the physical side, but this is by investing into our people, and we see this as a big investment, we're going to continue with that investment. Otherwise, all that we've done will be a waste of time.
Indeed. Before we close, and I asked Jonathan to do the honors of doing so, I have a question for you. You made a comment earlier about the gentleman who's in charge of your CSR projects. And you said that every organization needs a champion, but every champion needs a champion. You gave him the freedom and the sense of value in doing this to make it happen. If you look back, because you have an exquisite career in the industry, when you look back at 2020, why are you, Christopher, a better leader because of COVID-19?
I suppose it's reinforced to me that my belief in our people, which has always been the fundamental of my leadership style, has really come to its own in this current time, and you know, and I think that's so. It's, I suppose that's the side it's really reinforced to me.
Brilliant. And I must say that as I hand back to Jonathan now, speaking to you now, I can't help but, in addition to thanking you so deeply, I'm so grateful to Jonathan because he accepted the idea of creating this project and running with it. And I just think we've become used to COVID-19 and 2020 and the trauma in the industry, and we forget the flame that needs to keep burning. And so thank you. But Jonathan, thank you. Because this is, to me, one of the most unbelievable blessings of an outcome in an otherwise tragic year. So over to you.
Great, thank you, Anita. And Chris, thank you so much. If I was only a few years younger, I'd be knocking on your door for a job. Because I just love.
That's a very nice compliment, thank you.
I love what you're doing, and it's so inspirational, and all the innovation that's going on, which we all need to be doing during this difficult period of time. But on behalf of Anita and myself, thank you so much for joining us, for sharing some of these wonderful initiatives that you're doing within your business and showcasing it to the industry. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much to both Anita and yourself. And what a great initiative that you've started. And I wish you every success with it, and that people will continue to support it, and obviously support all those people in need in our industry who are really desperately need help. So, you know, you must be complimented for this incredible initiative that you've undertaken. So very, very well done to yourselves as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And stay safe and stay very strong and hopeful.
Thanks very much, Anita. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye.